Hello and welcome to IRL F2 here for round 8 in Azerbaijan. Today, of course, it's a 6-kilometer circuit and the main overtaking opportunities going into turn 1 and turn 3, as we see pretty much everyone navigating the 20 corners around this Baku city, I don't know what I'm saying, around this Baku city circuit. And of course, in the championship, it's very crucial between the top 4, 19 points between them. Of course, it was Adrian Lenin who was leading the championship going into the previous race in Russia, but he had a crash which ended his race and put him right down to 4th in the standings. Timber Stalins also made a big statement, fighting for the win right to the last lap, but in the end he was involved in an incident with Ross Denholm and he ended up 4th. Unfortunately, Ross took the win ahead of Ivan Kingsley, a Ferrari 1-2, which I think is their second 1-2 of the season, and I'm sure they'll be hoping to repeat their past glories with another 1-2 today. As of course we do see Ross Denholm on a lap. If his teammates, maybe he isn't actually all that much more ahead, is Timber Stalins. He is going to be coming to the line. I think it's actually Timber Stalins who's going to set the pace as 39.0 from Tim, and we're going to see the times rolling through here. His teammate is second with a 39.7, a 39.9 for Erminator, and then it's Jack Uden who splits the two in first and second, the two Alpha Tauris, of course. Connor Setchell goes 5th, but he is on mediums, and we're just going to see where those Ferraris are, if we can find them, as across the line for Ross Denholm on the mediums. He's gone 5th, just getting ahead of Connor Setchell by about 2/10, you can say, as on an outlap is Ivan Kingsley. And we also have to look out for Adrian Lenin as well, who's also getting on his outlap at the moment. He's just starting his outlap. So Tim, really a big statement now, putting it on provisional pole. Of course, he was close to pole position last week, but Ross just beat him. He got him on the line, and towards turn 1 he led, and it stayed like that for pretty much the whole race, but his strategy just didn't work out. But at the same time, maybe he thinks it was just an incident that cost him, and his strategy was the better one. Of course, it should be, I think, a soft hard is going to be the strategy this race, as we see Ivan Kingsley now going through. Of course, he had second last week. It's Ferrari 1-2 in the constructor, in the drivers, I should say, once again, as of course Ivan Kingsley trailing to his teammate as he's just navigating the middle sector, turns 5 and 6 here. Very tricky but very satisfying if you get it right. He's apparently purple in the first sector, but he is on mediums. I kind of doubt that a little bit in that case. And of course through the castle section, very tight. Want to get really close to the wall, but make sure you don't hit it. And if you do go a little bit offline, as it looks like he did, you're going to lose quite a bit of time. As now, of course, he's going through the left-hander. He's going through the flat turns 13 and 14, and he's going to be looking for a very good lap here. He's going to be looking to at least beat his teammate, of course. You have to remember, they are teammates, but they're also in a championship fight with each other. I don't think they're going to be helping out each other too much at this point, especially in the closing stages of the championship fight, as Luke gets disqualified. Unfortunate then, I guess. As Ivan Kingsley now, of course, there's some yellow flags. I think that's for Mercedes or something up ahead, or actually no, it could be for Ross Denholm here. Ivan Kingsley's going to cross the line here. Is Ross crashed out? I can't see his car anymore. Ivan is going to go 9th, which is currently last of the people who have set times of 40.7. A little bit off his teammate, you can say, about 4/10, I would say there. It's Kieran Spears, who's taken a win, if I'm not wrong, this season in 4th, so he's showing a bit of pace today. Adam Corrigan actually up in 3rd in the Alfa Romeo in the early stages, but still we have the other half of the grid to be setting a lap, as one person who's going to be setting a lap, Adrian Lenin, of course. Remember, he was leading the championship until last race in his DNF. He's going to be wanting to make up for it, as of course he's going through the flat turn 17 and then 18 and 19. A little bit easy to spin if you use a little bit of ERS in the wrong way going through there, especially on older tires. But he's going to be coming up to the line now. A tiny little kink of turn 20. I wouldn't really count it much as a corner. But across the line now for Adrian Lennon. What can he do on the softs? It's 8th only with a 40.4. So not really showing too much pace at the moment. When Adrian really does need some, because he was involved in an incident last week. Really wasn't his fault. But yeah, he's going to need to get a little bit up there. Of course, it is his banker. He has time to improve on the lap. As Tim Mercedes is back out on track. As I'll just take this opportunity. I think most people are on in-laps, so I can just do the tweet quickly. And yeah, it is into the pit lane then for Ivan. So we're just gonna go with Tim for now, as I think he was just letting someone through there. Oh, okay. It looks like the tweet was done for me, so I guess I don't have to do that then. Never mind. So Tim will be properly going just in a second. He'll be activating the DRS as well. Well, not the DRS, the ERS, as the DRS comes a little bit later in the straight, of course, just after this left and right hander. And Tim currently, but almost actually 3/10 quicker than Jack Uden. And I'm sure he's going to be looking to get into the 38s, as of course through turn 1 you want to use the curb on the exit, and then going through turn 2 as well, you just want to get it right. Don't want to skip over the curb, because he can go a little bit straight on as he did there, so not quite the best run going through that corner that he could have possibly gotten, and it's going to affect his run a little bit all the way down towards turn 3, where again you don't really want to be touching the curb, but you want to take it as close to the wall as you can on the exit. And a similar concept with the next few corners, really, as of course through this chicane, very tricky but satisfying. As I said, if you get right, I think he is an Alfa Romeo of Adam Corrigan up ahead. He's on an outlap, so hopefully he doesn't catch him, or if he does, he gets out of the way at least. As now through the castle section, you want to be careful here, but he is going to be looking for an improvement as well, as he goes through fairly okay. He doesn't invalidate on the exit either, as I think there's some yellow flags up ahead for McLaren. That would be Connor Setchell, I guess, as they're going very slowly. Tim is going to be coming through in a few moments, so they're going to have to get out of the way now, as they're almost fighting for track position. Up ahead, as Tim Mercedes now is going to come through, Connor Setchell is going to get out of the way, so now through the left and right hander, the final little bit. You've done pretty much everything anyway when you're in the third sector. Not all too much more than floor it right down to the finish line, as opening up the DRS. What can Tim do? Can he go faster? As his teammate's gone faster. 39.2, a front row lockout, I should say. As Tim does go faster, he doesn't get into the 38s, but it was ever so slightly faster, about half a tenth faster, it looked like. But an improvement is an improvement. As, yeah, Ross Denham is out at the moment. Well, I mean, permanently, I should say. I don't know how he DNF'd, but certainly is out at the moment of the quali session, which really is something he doesn't need, especially when he's down in 8th at the moment. He's on mediums, though. It's Ivan Kingsley now navigating Sector 2, just going to be finishing up here in a second. Or actually, no, he's... Oh, wrong person, so he's on an outlap. So we'll be on board with him then, as he exits the final proper corner. Everything else, of course, being flat out, as he's not using his ERS yet, so he's not getting the kilometers per hour up early on the straight. Also be opening up the DRS on the soft, so this will be a lap that he'll be aiming for provisional pole for, as of course through turn 1 you want to get up on the curb just open up the corner for you and then use the curb in the exit. Didn't quite go as wide as maybe he should be doing, as he takes the second corner fairly nicely. Doesn't up over the curb, which is something Tim did on his first lap, but Tim has improved since then though. As into turn 3, of course again you want to just be as close to the wall as possible on the exit. And turn 4, the same thing, skips over the curb a little bit, not quite what you want. As through turns 5 and 6, you want to make sure you get a good exit onto this small little straight. And then turn 7 is corner really, you want to be careful you don't invalidate on. You can cut it a little bit, but you can get a warning from it as well when you least expect it, as of course he's going to be exiting turn 12 out of the castle section fairly nicely. We'll see how much he's up on sector 2 when he crosses over the line, as of course now the kind of downhill 15, certainly downhill on the exit as well, as he's ghosting. I'm not sure why he ghosted. I don't think he's lagged out or anything. He is still going, or it looks like someone is actually... Oh no, he's... Yeah, he has actually. Surely that's a lag out. We'll see if his AI finishes his time, but didn't really look very smooth, as he's going to be going into the pit lane. He didn't invalidate or anything, so that's interesting. That's Jessica also getting into the pit lane. As it looks like, well, where is, okay, yeah, he is further up ahead on the track. I think Adam Corrigan's going to be setting a lap in a second though. Or he's going to go over the white line, which is something you definitely don't want to be doing in the race, because that is a straight 5 second. There's kind of no way around it. The rule is very clear. As is Connor's... Okay, no, yeah. Adrian Lennon is further up, so we'll be on board with Adrian Lennon. Looks like Connor Sechel's on a good lap, though, given that it popped up that he was purple. Has a very nice run as he exits turn 15 into turn 16, the final corner that really matters. As, of course, currently on a 39.9, he's going to need a... Or, no, he's out of fuel. Well, that's interesting. On his lap and running out of fuel. So the next one back was, I think it was Craig Woolley actually, in the Aston Martin. No, he's run out of fuel as well. So it is going to be Connor Setchell in that case, who isn't out of fuel. He's going to be able to bring this to the line, or I hope he is, as Adrian Lennon now retires from the session, interestingly. He didn't really have any more time to set a lap though, so I guess it's fair enough. So what can Connor Setchell do? It did say he was purple in at least the middle sector. As he crosses the line, he's going to go 5th with a 39.4, 4 tenths off of Tim on provisional pole. Crucially for Tim, his teammates are right up there as well with him in 3rd. So we'll just try and find someone. Is anyone on lap at the moment? Louis Quinlan is on a lap, so we'll go on board with Louis Quinlan then. It's going through turn 3. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead of him in a McLaren and an Alfa Romeo. Excuse me. Hopefully that doesn't affect him, but he's going to be closing up. Oh, excuse me. He's going to be closing up big time as we go through, especially in the castle section. Hopefully they get out of the way. You can see the McLaren there. As Louis is going to be on his lap, he's going to be looking for an improvement, and he may well get blocked here, as the McLaren's right in the way. And that was Connor Setchell. Well, Louis Quinlan's going to be furious with that. As I'm just going to see where Tim Bruce Salins is on Ivan Kingsley. Okay, Ivan Kingsley is going to... do his lap after Tim, so we'll go on board with Tim, as Connor has got a 5-place grid penalty now. for a collision with none other than Louis Quinlan, of course. As an invalidation from Tim Brustalens. This could be crucial. He's got provisional pole under his belt. Jack Uden isn't going to be improving. His teammate, of course, isn't going to be improving. Adam Corrigan could have something to say about that pole. Maybe he's only 3/10 off it. But we'll go on board now with Ivan Kingsley, who certainly is going to be going for pole as he gets out of the castle section now, as he goes through the flat, turns 13 and turns 14. The next car up on track is going to be Tim Brustalens. Tim, I don't think will end up getting in his way very much at all, as Ivan now in 11th. We'll see how much he's up on his time, and he crosses over. He's 3/10 up, not a massive amount, you can say, really. It's actually only going to be getting him maybe a 10th. If he got that last corner pretty okay, but he's not going to be improving it by all that much, and I really don't see much point in setting him up unless something is lying to us. As he opens up the DRS, he's going to be looking for a provisional pole. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near it though, and yeah, it's only 10th. He had an 11th and he had free choice of tyre, but now he's 10th. It's a very bad position, especially in Azerbaijan, where the softs really just don't last. So really interesting decision to finish that lap. I really don't know why he did. As Adam Corrigan now, he's invalidated, so that's not going to be an improvement. Jack Uden also on an invalidated lap, and I don't think we're waiting on anyone else. So it is going to be Tim Brustalens who takes provisional pole in Azerbaijan, which is crucial because last week he was second and jumped Ross Denham on the line, led most of the race, and of course ended up fourth with an incident. This time he's put it on pole position. I'm not sure if it's his first pole position of the season. I would have to check that, but I can say for sure he's going to be very happy with that, and especially with his teammate being fourth. His closest rival is in 8th, which is Adrian Lennon. The two Ferraris in 10th and 11th, and one Ferrari on a very bad strategy compared to what he could have been on. So if Tim can just lead from the front, I think he's going to be in for a very nice race, as long as he can keep it out of the barriers as well. The castle section can get pretty tight. But there you go then. Jack Uden actually was only 4 thousandths off Tim. So very close between the top two. As Erminator, of course, is going to take 3rd, Louis Quinlan 4th, Adam Corrigan 5th, Connor Setchell 6th with that 5-place grid penalty though. Kieran Spears in 7th, Adrian Lennon in 8th, Tom Spicer 9th, and Ivan Kingsley is going to take 10th. And then outside of the top 10, Ross Denham, Jessica Harrison and Craig Woolley, who are setting times. And then Cameron Rowlands, Billy Mossam, Shane Hamrick, Jeremy Pope, Matt, of course, who, you know, just didn't do the qualifying as normal, and then Luke, who got disqualified. By the way, Matt Romano is doing a cancer stream at the moment, and he will be streaming this race. It's a 24-hour stream, so really, really good, good thing to be supporting. And maybe if you could just check out a stream, as of course he only has an hour or two left, I think, on it. So I think this is going to be more or less the last thing that he does. Starting from 19th, but he also usually doesn't get penalties or anything like that. And with safety cars, no penalties, could be looking good for him. And I personally hope he does well, especially for the stream that he's doing. As everyone just gets their strategies together. As of course now it's Tim Brustalens who leads the pack away. Ahead of Jack Uden, who you can't underestimate because he was of course so close, like barely any difference between the lap that he set and Tim Brustalens, of course. At the end of the day though, it is Tim Brustalens, and also a crucial extra 2 points for that provisional pole, or pole position, not even provisional anymore, it's set in stone now. So an extra 2 points up his sleeve, which is certainly good for him. as I'll just take a quick look at the standings while we navigate the formation map. So it is Ross Denham on 88 points, Ivan Kingsley on 82, and then Tim on what is now 78 with his pole position. And in that case then he's 10 points away from leading the championship, which I don't think is something that he's actually done yet. Despite being up there, he hasn't actually taken a win this season either. And if he did take a win, I think it would be the 7th different winner. Just shows how close F2 is this season. And as a result as well, we have 4 people in the championship fight, or championship hunt at least at the moment, being Tim Brusaden's Adrian Lennon, who's put himself in 7th, and the 2 Ferraris who are 9th and 10th. So actually, in terms of the championship, the top 4 in the championship are flipped in the race. Of course, Tim Brusaden's is 4th, Adrian 3rd, Ivan Kingsley is 2nd, and Ross is 1st. So if it finished like this with all of them in the points, it would close everything right up at the top. Adrian Lennon, by the way, 69 points, so that's 19 points away from the top. So he's a little bit off from his DNF last week, which was unfortunate. He didn't cause it, it wasn't on his own, it was a crash that he had with someone on lap 1, unfortunately, as well. So he'll be hoping that his race doesn't come to an end early. And someone who's going to be hoping for a clean race at the front, of course, is going to be Tim Brusaden's, who's really been looking for a break this season. He's got some podiums to his name. He's going to be looking for a win today as we line up on the grid for round 8 here in Azerbaijan, as I'm just waiting for that camera angle to update. Five red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. Looks like Louis Quinlan in the background's got a pretty good start. There's actually just been a crash already. Jack Uden spun Louis Quinlan's round. Adam Corrigan's out of this Grand Prix. I think that's going to be a safety car. Surely it's going to be a safety car. Tim Brusaden's gets away well and retains his lead. It is a full safety car. Adam Corrigan already out. Jack Uden was the one who caused it. He lost his rear off the line, which spun into Louis Quinlan, who, by the way, didn't actually lose all too much in the grand scheme of things. Down to 7th. Could have been a lot worse, as I think maybe he wanted a P6, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's in 7th at the moment. Does he have damage? We'll see, as he does very much have damage. So in some ways he's lucky to have the safety car, but unlucky to be someone who came off badly in the incident. So he'll be right to the back of the grid. Jack Uden's already at the back of the grid, who started in P2 on the front row. But it is Tim Brusaden who's smooth sailing at the front at the moment. He got away well, he did what he had to do. Adrian Lennon had a pretty... Actually, Ross Denham had an amazing start. He started down in 10th, he's already up to 4th. Louis Quinlan's crashed. How has Louis Quinlan crashed? Is that the castle section? It is the castle section. Under safety car he got caught out. That is that's something. What will be interesting now is if anyone decides to pit, because I think hards can go the distance probably. I'm not sure. I know the normal pit lap for hards is like a lap 11. But under safety car maybe someone would chance it and just go to the end, see what happens. As into the pit lane for Tim and Derminator and Kieran Spears, Ross Denham is going to take the lead of this race in that case. Adrian Lennon's going to be in, Connor Setchel's going to stay out, Tom Spicer's in, Ivan is in, Hamrick is also in, and I think Cameron Rowlands is about to be in as well. As he kind of, I'm not really sure if that counts as crossing over the line or not. As Jessica Harrison stays out. She's actually... No. It's not going to be, is it? I think it's going to be 5th. Or actually, some people got out of the pits already. Well, what a position for Tim to be in then. Pitting, of course, it's always risky when you're leading, and it's right at the start of the race, you risk that everyone else doesn't pit, but he did decide to take the pit stop, and of course his title rival is in first, who started on mediums, but they were mediums he used in qualifying. Tim Brusalen's mediums, of course, are completely fresh. And in third place as well, so if he can get the move on Conor Setchel, then we'd actually be seeing a fight between two title rivals. As in terms of the other two, Ivan Kingsley has dropped down to 12th after the pit stop, and Adrian Lennon now down to 10th. So I get the feeling that the race win is kind of between Ross Denham and Tim Brusalens at this point, but you never know, someone else could pop up out of nowhere and maybe take a win. Of course, we are looking maybe for a 7th different winner. The only repeat winner this season is Ross Denham, who took a win in Russia, and I think he took a win in Belgium, if I remember correctly, or maybe that was his teammate. Or actually no, yeah, he won in Italy, and his teammate took it in Belgium then. So 2 race wins for Ross Denham. He'll be looking for his 3rd, which would be very good for the championship. And Tim Brusalens is going to be looking to stop that. The safety car will stay out for, I think, just one more lap, as Jack Uden still needs to catch up to the grid. 4 retirements already, and they were all on lap 1. Well, actually no, Hamrick would have been lap 2 actually, because he went into the pits. One thing I can say is hopefully we don't get too many safety cars, because they take so long, and especially for the last room I did, which was Russia and FP, I got quite a few safety cars and it just makes it feel so long. And takes away from the action that you could be having as well. But as they go and finish Sector 2, when they go over that line to start Sector 3, that's when the call for the safety car should come in. Of course, the whole grid is bunched up, so yeah, there you go, safety car in this lap, and it's up to Ross when he wants to go. He can take it all the way to the line, which, as you can see, it's a very long run to the line, and he has full control of it. So he's going to slow the grid right down, and very early right down, as of course he's just going to warm up his mediums. Conor Setchel on the softs just behind him. So if Ross is caught out, he's going to have to be careful of Conor. And Tim Brusalens as well, who's going to be hungry to get past him after what happened last week. As, yeah, he's activated ERS and he's going now. As of course, Tim Brusalens and Conor Setchel's going to follow in the slipstream. I think people are overtaking before they're meant to be allowed to. I'm not sure if Billy got overtaken there or was doing some overtaking. Maybe he was letting people back through, but between the top 3 they remain the same. Ross Denham continues to lead ahead of the McLaren, Conor Setchel, and then Tim Brusalens in the AlphaTauri, of course, as they're all going to be using the ERS down towards turn 3. As you can see, Timber Satan's right up the back of the McLaren. I don't think he's going to be able to dive him here, as he's going to close up under braking, but he's going to be sensible and stick behind for now. Erminator in the background, who's shown very good pace in previous races, especially in Austria. Unfortunately, just spins kind of got in his way there. Is that a spin from Jessica Harrison there? As I'm going to just stay on board in case a move happens. I don't think there is. Yeah, there isn't. Is that a spin? Is that damage? It is damage, yeah, it was. As Ross Denham already has gapped the field 1.5 seconds to Connor Setchell behind, and it's going to allow Timber Satans maybe to make a bit easier of an overtake, but at the same time, seeing Ross Denham go off into the distance isn't something he's going to be wanting to see, as using ERS in the corners, it's really not something you want to be using, especially when you go through this left and right-handers, because if you're on old tyres, it can really unsettle your car. But he's going to be on the left-hand side of the McLaren and ahead well before the corner, and I get the feeling he's going to stay there as well, as the McLaren's going to try and slipstream him down towards turn 2. He's going to look down the inside. Is he going to try it? He is going to look towards it, but then out of nowhere, actually, Erminator is going to look down the inside of Connor Setchell, so Connor losing out 2 positions now. As on the mediums, Erminator is going to go up into the podium places. Connor Setchell's going to drop down, and now it's Kieran Spears' opportunity. He's going to look down the inside for turn 3. I don't think he's going to need it, as he's going to get the corner, and he's going to get the move done before turn 3. So Connor Setchell down to 5th in the span of only 3 corners, you can say. As is that another overtake, as Luke Baker getting past Craig Woolley, as Adrian Lennon, of course, another protagonist in the title fight, is down in 9th at the moment. He's got a rival right behind him of Ivan Kingsley, who's currently 2nd. So this is 2nd and 4th in the championship right now. That's 1.0 seconds, so almost back within DRS range. Timber Salins, as we get a nice shot of them going through the castle section from Ivan Kingsley's front wing. So Ivan has also saved up a good bit of ERS, but so has Adrian Lennon, so they're going to be both looking for a move on Craig Woolley. Interestingly though, Adrian Lennon on the hards from when he pit, so he's going to be probably going on the softs at the end of this race. So we'll just go on board with Ross Denham then. Timber Satans is going to be closing all the way down towards turn 1. I don't think he's going to be close enough though, as going through turn 1 now, you can see Ross Denham still has the lead, but a fastest lap for Timber Satans. Tim is really not playing around today. As now on the inside, Ivan Kingsley, of course, these two are title rivals. Going in towards turn 1, Ivan Kingsley on the inside. I think he's going to have this as well. Mediums versus hards, and he is going to have this up into 8th place, as Adrian Lennon tries to fight back, but just can't. Of course, the grip on those hards just not quite there. Of course, he's going to come back in the later part of this race, or maybe he's going to look for a move right now, as he's going to look on the outside for turn 3, side by side between the two. Can Adrian Lennon get his position back? No, I don't think so, as he's going to be squeezed out going through turn 3, and he's going to have to remain 9th, and still Craig Woolley is going to be holding up these two. Their progress is, of course, being halted a little bit, and of course from Luke Baker as well, who's got a little bit of a gap to Billy Mossam, to Williams actually, running quite well for themselves, as now you can see Ross Denham leading this race. Timber Salins clearly has done a good bit of practice for this race, to try and make up for what he lost in Russia, and what he probably feels it's going to be personal here as well, given their incident that they had only this time last week, as Timber Salins is going to be on the back of Ross Denham. Ross Denham's going to have to defend surely, as of course they're both going to be using ERS as they go down the straight. Timber Salins right up the back of him as we head down towards turn 1. Tim Brusalens is on the rear wing of Ross Denham. He's going to be looking for the outside of turn 1. I don't think he's going to need it. Side by side between the two title rivals, and Tim Brusalens is going to pull ahead of Ross Denham and into the lead of this race as they go into turn 1. Tim Brusalens takes P1, which he was in before. Of course, he had provisional pole position, and now he retakes the lead of this race here on lap 7, and I don't think Ross Denham's going to be able to fight back. He's not going to be interested in fighting back as he doesn't use any ERS. Is now actually Ivan Kingsley getting past Craig Woolley here, and also looking for a move on Luke Baker, so he's not playing around. He's really making the moves count, as of course Adrian Lennon... Sorry, my voice is just going right now. As Adrian Lennon couldn't get past the two, so Ivan Kingsley putting some space between himself and Adrian Lennon, and maybe he's going to be able to gap them now. As of course he's got a little bit of clean air until he catches up to Billy Mossam, who's currently running in 5th. As you can see, the fight for the lead, Tim Brusalens has gapped Ross by about 7-8 tenths now. So you can just see the pace difference Tim Brusalens has today. Through what is... Oh, as actually I should go on board with this. It's a virtual safety car. What has happened? Is that Jessica Harrison again? It is Jessica Harrison. And this time I don't think she's lost a wing. But I think that's what caused it. I don't think anyone else... Oh wait, is that a no wing? Or was it a bad angle? Adrian Lennon has no front wing. Running in 10th at the moment. This is really not what he needs, of course. A DNF last week, and he's going to have to come into the pit lane. He has a virtual safety car behind him, luckily, so he's not going to lose out as much time as he could have, but really not what he wants. So we found where the incident happened anyway. At least it was involving Adrian Lennon and someone else anyways through the pit lane entry. You can see the understeer that he's getting as 410 separates first and second here. Of course, the Ferrari of Ross Denham trying to stick with Tim, but I think Tim has the pace advantage though, as Erminator just sticking with him in the background as well. I think it's just over 1 second the gap though to Ross Denham, so he's not going to have DRS unfortunately. As is that a spin for Connor Setchell? Well, he's backwards. This is in turn 3. He's reversing. And it seems like maybe an incident into turn 3 that he had to go straight on for. And of course down out of the points. As Erminator and Kieran tries to stick with the top 2, but I think they're starting to gap them by a little bit extra now. As currently 8 tenths between 2nd and 3rd, so Erminator is just about going to have DRS. Someone who might not have DRS anymore though is Ross Denham. 1 second separates the top 2. Is he going to be able to open up that DRS flap? He isn't. So no DRS for Ross Denham. As you can see, Ermin is going to have DRS, but he's going to be going into the pit lane on lap 9. Interesting decision, as Kieran Spears now is going to inherit a podium position from that. 1.5 seconds the gap to Ross Denham. As a yellow flag in sector 3, that's for a crash. I think it's actually Craig Woolley who's crashed out here. As you can see on the right hand side, the Aston Martin out of the Grand Prix, and it's a full safety car once again. So I think it was yeah, it was Erminator who took a chance to pit. He's going to be a little annoyed with himself now because he could have pit the next lap under safety car and not lost so much time. I think he'll still probably emerge ahead of the top guys, I'm not sure. There's not too much of a gap. As Tim Brusalens is going to be doing the restart this time. Of course, the last restart was done by Ross Denham. This time it's Tim Brusalens. As of course this is lap 1 of the safety car. So once Tim catches a safety car, it'll be that lap, and then the lap after they'll be in. 7 cars DNF'd from this race now. As into the pit lane naturally for the top guys. Tim Brusalian's in, Ross in, and Kieran Spears in. Did Erminator even pit? I could swear he did. But he's on 6 lap old mediums. Unless he had a drive-through, actually, that would have made more sense. As on go a fresh set of mediums for Tim Brusalians, a fresh set of hards for Ross, and hards as well for Kieran Spears. Interesting decision to go for mediums there, but I think hards was a better decision. As Erminator now is going to take the lead of the race, as everyone's going to just funnel through from the pit stops, as it looks like Luke is serving a penalty there. Ivan Kingsley going to go through and take 8th place. As luckily for Adrian Lennon, he's going to be able to pit and catch back up to the grid. And is Jessica going to pit for this? She should. I hope she knows to pit for this. And she doesn't. Damn. As everyone lines up, I'm gonna go get a water. Because my voice is going and I don't have one, so... And back we go. And hopefully my voice doesn't feel so bad now. As of course still under safety car conditions. Gonna be in on this lap 11. As now Jessica's in, so eventually she came in anyway. Well, I mean, it is a mixed bag. It's interesting. A good few people on mediums, but I don't personally think that mediums is the way to go for this. There is a safety car, but in normal circumstances you pit on lap 11 for hards, and, well, the end of this lap is lap 11. And the safety car comes in at that point, so... I really don't think people on mediums are going to be having too great of a time. Of course, at the start they will. They'll be able to pull a gap. It's actually a crash. Erminator's out. What a strange incident. As he spun while leading, he was just warming up his tires. Well, that's unexpected. Now Tim is your leader. So it's... again, up to him when we start. So I'll just check the chat because I've seen a few comments anyway. Oh, okay, that makes more sense, Terminator. And for Jeremy Pope, it looks like the safety car spawned in front of him and killed him. But Erminator, that is very unfortunate that your throttle got stuck. I thought it was just because you were warming up your tires and maybe you lost the rear, but if your throttle got stuck, there's not much you can do about that. That's quite unfortunate. But now, of course, we have Tim Brusain's going to be leading, and he's going to be warming up his tires. He's going to be able to go whenever he wants from now up to the start-finish line, and it is a very long run. The safety car line is quite deep into the straight. As the safety car will make its way in, everyone will be slowed down by Tim. As now just preparing to go for Tim. It's going to be him looking to catch them out. He has activated his ERS, and now he's gone, and it looks like he's really caught out Ross Denham. As you can see, Ross is losing ground, as right up the back of him as well, Kieran Spears is going to be putting pressure going into turn 1. He's going to be looking down the inside, just not close enough though. As Tim Brusain's on the mediums as well, he should be able to pull a fairly good gap. As of course we go through turn 2, those hards really going to be not very grippy, you can say anyway. As Tim Brusain's is going to be flying 9/10s already. He really is flying on those mediums. And as we go through the middle sector, a bit of dirty air for Ross, hards for Ross as well. Is that damage? Maybe he just clipped the wall there, as his wing is still very much intact. 9/10 still. 1 second now, he's already gapped Ross. As we go through on lap 12, of course no DRS in activation either for a little bit. So if he can continue at this kind of pace for the next few laps, you'll almost guarantee that Ross isn't going to be able to close up to him. 1.4 seconds separates Ross and Kieran Spears. Actually very similar gaps, first to second and second to third. So maybe the top three are just going to separate themselves a little bit from each other. 1.7, 1.8 seconds. Tim's really going for this. He doesn't want anything to stand in his way. He wants no other factors. A side by side, very awkward corner to be going side by side, and Cameron Rowland's on the inside. Of course he's going to be able to take the P4 there, but really another corner you want to go side by side in as Connor skips over the curb and maybe allows Billy Mossam to get a little bit of a run on him now. As of course out of the right-hander of turn 19 in the slipstream, we might actually see a few moves happening here, as the McLaren's also closing up on the Red Bull as he's looking to the right hand side, and he's going to actually overtake him as we go through turn 1. He's not going to try and outbrake him. He's going to have a little bit of a look, but actually it's going to allow Billy Mossam to go through now, as Cameron Rowlands now loses out 2 positions in just the one corner from going a little bit deep. As Connor Setchell is going to take a 4th place, but is he going to keep it for very long? As Billy Mossam's going to be looking down the inside, just not close enough to go for a move there. And he's going to have to sit behind now. 2.8 seconds between Ross Denham and Tim Brusain's. Tim probably, if he's planning to pit again, he probably can and very easily catch back up to Ross, because this is a track really that, you know, fresh tyres through the sector 2, you'll gain all the time there, and then going down the straight with DRS, it's already easy to overtake, but especially with the tyre advantage, I think Tim Brusain's maybe actually on a spot-on strategy here. As what's happened here is, as Tom Spicer spun, or maybe lost the wing. He has lost the wing anyway. So probably hit the wall going through the castle section, I can only assume. As 3.6 seconds separates the top 2. Even if Tim got a penalty now, it wouldn't matter. DRS gets enabled. 1.2 seconds back is Kieran Spears on Ross Denham as they go through turn 1. And of course, Kieran Spears is going to be looking to close up that last little bit so he can start making ground on Ross and maybe go for an overtake. Is this Ivan? It is. Ivan Kingsley is in the wall. As of course Adrian Lennon, I would assume was just going past there. So Ivan Kingsley really didn't need that for the championship fight. Currently second. Of course, Timber Salen certainly is going to be able to overtake him in this race, as I think Ross will be retaining his championship lead, as Timber Salens would certainly be closing up a little bit. As who actually has the fastest lap? As I'll just check. As it is Tim, so he'll be getting 28 points today, the full 28 points. As almost 4.5 seconds separate the top two. You can see visually on the map, and actually from Ross's onboard. Well, not even from Ross's onboard, because you really can't see Timber Salens. As I think maybe we'll get a glimpse of him in the distance as he comes out of this corner. The little kink of turn 20 there. You can see just about in the distance a little blob of Timber Salens' car, but it's gotta be demotivating for Ross. You can see us a little bit of it there going through turn 1. It's gotta be demotivating for him to just see Timber Salens just go off into the distance, especially with Kieran Spears. He's gonna be having to he's gonna have to look behind rather than ahead. Of course, with Kieran Spears making up ground on him a little bit. 1.2 seconds separates them two at the moment, and I think it's advantage Kieran Spears at the moment ever so slightly, as Adrian Lennon into the pit lane for a wing change. So looks like he's been caught up in an incident. As Connor Setchell as well closing up to Kieran Spears. 8-10 separates them as he just got in the DRS range, and surely now Kieran Spears is going to be in the DRS. He looks like he's in the DRS. 1.3 seconds just outside of it. There's a gap ahead, 5 seconds now. "16 laps on the mediums. Is it possible?" I guess that remains to be found out anyway. As in the slipstream, is that an open up DRS? No, it's not, but he's going to certainly have it for the second DRS zone out of turn 3, as he's well within the DRS range now. Connor Setchell has actually dropped out of it, so it looks like Kieran Spears really picked up the pace in the last lap, as he's going to open up the DRS now, and maybe use a little DRS. So actually he's not, as they're on identical DRSs right now. So now a fight for second place maybe brewing between these two, as Timber Salens continues to gap these guys. 5.3, 5.4 seconds, 5.5 seconds, as the tenths are just going up very, very quickly. That's almost 6 seconds. It'll probably be 6 seconds by the end of this lap. As is maybe Ross getting a little, or feeding a little bit of the pressure now, especially from behind with Kieran Spears. As through the flat left-handers, and then the downhill turn 15, and then the last corner that you have to brake for, the last corner that really matters, turn 16, which brings you on to the start-finish straight of what is pretty much entirely Sector 3. Is now he's in the slipstream of Ross Denham. He's going to have DRS behind him as well to use. He's going to have DRS when it becomes available. He's in the slipstream. You can see he will be closing, but I don't think he's quite close enough. 5 tenths separate them at the moment. He opens up the DRS flap. He's closing down towards turn 1. He may well be able to go down the inside. He might look for it. He's not going to go for it. He's going to be sensible at the moment. But now going out of turn 2, if he can get a good exit, he has another opportunity with the DRS going towards turn 3 as he opens up the DRS flap. He's a little bit far back though. 5/10 separate these two as Cameron Rowland's pitting there. Matt Romano going up to 6th place. As you can see, once again, Kieran Spears closing up to the back of Ivan, but just not close enough. As 6 seconds ahead for Tim Brusalians as there's 9 laps left, so surely now Tim is going to be bringing these tyres to the end. And if these two fight a little bit, Connor Setchell might be able to be brought in to the fight for the podium places as well. Of course, no one currently with any penalties at all. So everyone keeping it pretty clean. As Matt Romano looks like he's going to have to deal with Ivan Kingsley soon, who's on a bit of a charge. Trying to make up for lost time, or lost ground. As once again, Kieran Spears is going to be closing up, going down towards turn 1. Once again, he's maybe going to look down to the inside of turn 1, but he's not going to do it again. Just a little bit too far back, but he looks visually a lot closer than he was last lap. As going through turn 2, he's a lot closer. He's going to open up the DRS. Can he make a move on Ross Denholm? It's going to be really bad for Ross to lose the extra few points on Tim Brusalian. Side by side going into turn 3, almost. As Ross Denholm seemed to have the overspeed, despite Kieran having DRS and surely using ERS as well. As Tom Spicer crashes out, and there's another safety car. I don't know where Tom crashed out. I can't really see. Is it out of here? There's someone on... Actually, no. Yeah, there you go. You can see it's on the start finish straight. As certainly not what Tim needed, because he had been gapping Ross Denholm for the last few laps. And if I was Tim right now, I would remember back to what happened last week and take the pit stop now, because if he pits, I think it'll entice Ross to pit as well. And these mediums, they really won't be too pretty by the end of this race. I think, yes, he was gapping Ross, but I don't think he was going to be gapping him for very much longer. As he's going to pull to the left-hand side, he isn't going to do the same thing as last week and into the pit lane for him. And same with Ross. It's going to be really a no-brainer to pit for a fresh set of softs. Staying out is, or actually no, not staying out is Connor Setchell as he crosses over the line very clearly there. Billy Mossam is also going to cross over the line, as Matt Romano now surely is going to also follow everyone in. Or maybe he's going to stay out. Oh! Matt Romano is actually going to look at staying out, which is an interesting choice. Maybe an inspired choice. What? Wait. What? Why isn't Tim on fresh? Oh no. He's on the same tires as he was last time. Still 8-lap-old mediums. Did he did pit. I watched him pit. Why is he... What has happened here? I mean, maybe it's a glitch that I'm just seeing something that's not. I really hope the game is lying to me and that he's not actually on 8-lap old mediums. Oh. Oh, no, that's not actually a good point for that to happen either. Okay. And luckily the safety car wasn't in that lap. As I'm just gonna check back in the stream. For what happened with Tim's pit stop. Because from what I saw, he pit, but maybe he didn't. Yeah, he did go into the pit lane. He definitely went in the pit lane. But he didn't get a fresh set of softs. I don't know if he actually went to his pit box. Maybe it was a drive-thru he was serving. I don't know, but why Tim is not on fresh softs right now is beyond me. As it's now up to Tim when they go, of course, on the mediums. I think he's probably gonna hold off on going for a little bit and try and catch them out like he did actually quite nicely last time for himself. And that's when he bolted, but of course at that point everyone behind him had hards on compared to his mediums. Of course, Tim chasing his first win of the season as well. Just weaving up his tires, slowing everyone down. As he's going now, he's activated the ERS and he is away. And we're going to be racing once again here in Baku. Of course, he's going to be able to retain his lead going through turn 1, but you can see the difference. Yeah, definitely those are still mediums. As Ross is going to be behind him, and he can brake so much later than Tim. As Tim Brusadens is going to be defending, but I don't think he's going to be able to defend all too much because the difference, I'd say Ross could probably outbrake him right now as he's going to be looking for it. He's going to look on the outside. Is Kieran Spears maybe going to be able to take advantage of anything? No, as Ross is going to retain a P2 at the moment. He's not going to be able to get this P1, but Tim Brusadens, he did pit. I guess it was a drive-through, or maybe the game messed up and didn't give him fresh tires. I don't know, but he really should be on softs at the moment, and he's not. Going through the castle section now, he's not going to have all too much grip. Ross is going to have a lot of grip. as I think someone may have spun. It looks like that's Cameron Rowlands who spun, or maybe had a crash in the castle section. He's got his whole wing, so I guess it was just a spin. As now Tim is still trying to fend off Ross. As now using ERS, Ross Denham, of course. Down towards turn 1 once again. I don't think Ross is going to be quite close enough on this occasion. Tim Mercedes is going to continue to lead as we go into lap 22 out of 26. Of course, there's 5 laps left, if I can count correctly. 22, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 laps. As Ivan Kingsley is pit very late on, and he's down and out of the points. Will help out Adrian Lennon to close back up to him. As now Ross still following behind Timber Salins. Timber Salins still on those mediums that are really going to fall off a cliff in probably a lap or two. As you can see, still how much more grip that Ross has and how much later he can break through the corners compared to Tim. Tim really isn't going to be liking the situation, as you can see, using ERS, trying to close up to Tim. Of course, isn't going to make a move yet, but he's certainly going to be right up close to look at a move going into turn 1. As Kieran Spears also right behind, so he could be losing a few positions here, Tim, unless Ross has exactly what I was about to say, a bad exit out of that corner. Maybe allows Kieran Spears to go down his inside, and just Ross will maybe have to stay put. As you can see, Timber Salins has been kind of blessed for at least a moment. As you can see, Kieran Spears is closing up on Ross as well. Ross is closing up once again on Timber Salins, going on to lap 23 out of 26, 4 laps left. Now there's DRS in activation. Of course, there wasn't any DRS for the last 2 laps that Ross is closing up, and he's going to have DRS as they go towards turn 3. And I get the feeling he's going to be able to make the move here, and probably fairly easily. He's going to be looking on the outside. Of course, Tim is going to cover the inside line, and side by side between the 2 title rivals, Tim is going to try and stay there, and there's actually come together a little bit. Ross Denham on the outside has hit the wall. He hasn't got any damage, luckily, and he's going to be down to 3rd. Kieran Spears now is the next person to go side by side, or try and make an overtake, I should say, on Tim Mercedes. Tim is going to retain his lead. As you can see, Ross struggling a little bit, as Billy Mossam and Connor Setchell trying to go side by side, going through there. Connor Setchell comes out on top there in 4th. Kieran Spears now is going to be looking for a win. I think it's going to be his 2nd win of the season as well. As, yes, it is going to be his 2nd win of the season. Of course, he won in Spain 2 weeks ago. So could he be a repeat winner, or could Tim try and take his 1st win of the season? As of course you can see, Kieran Spears now is going to be looking for a move. Ross Denham is really struggling since that incident. Of course you can see now, I think it's going to be pretty easy for Kieran Spears to make this move, as Tim can do absolutely nothing now. He's held him off the advances of Ross Denham, but he can't hold off the advances of... he can't hold off the advances of Kieran Spears, and Kieran up into the lead of this race. I think he's going to be going off into the distance for the last few laps, as Connor Setchell now in 3rd. Ross Denham has dropped down to 4th. As Timber Sailing is trying to catch back up to the back of the Haas. Can't quite do it though. Of course, those mediums are really not going to be helping him out. 24 out of 26, 3 laps left, including this one. As is that an overtaking opportunity there, or at least an attempt, as Ross Denham and Billy Mossum's going to be going side by side. Billy's going to stick it still on the inside, and he's going to squeeze out Ross Denham what's that? That's Adrian Lennon, actually, who's trying to get involved in this. Adrian could end up passing Ross Denham now. And of course, Ross Denham, also someone in the title hunt, currently 6th compared to Ross Denham's 5th. If he can get past Ross, he will be gaining only 2 points on Ross, but still, it's going to be crucial as Kieran Spears now pulls away a little bit more. 7/10 between himself and Tim Brustalens, and also Tim has used pretty much all of his ERS as well. So I don't think Tim's going to be able to catch back up, as Connor Setchell is going to be trying to close in on Tim Brustalens, who doesn't have all too much ERS, as does Tim, very little. But Kieran Spears leading the Grand Prix and has the ERS to back it up. Now 7/10 separates the two of them. Tim Brustalens still sticking with the DRS, which is good, but time's running out. Of course, it's going to have to be going on to the last lap that he makes the overtake, really, or maybe right on the line, because there still is a bit of a run, but he's going to have to hope that Kieran Spears makes a mistake. As Ross Denham still fighting away with Billy Mossum here. As I think Billy might be able to make a move on Ross as well when they go on to the final lap, which is where you want to make the move. There's a little bit of a rear end loss for Billy, but just about saves it. There's another rear end loss. It's almost going to be Adrian Lennon looking at a move on him. As we go back to the fight for the lead, there you go, 1.6 seconds separates them, and Tim Brustalens now is going to have to look behind himself again. Of course, Connor Setchell on softs, he has more ERS at least than Tim Brustalens has, and he's fairly close as they go on to the last lap, where they approach the final lap using ERS. I'm sure Tim's using his ERS as well, but opening up the DRS flap as well. Tim Brustalens again is going to be a sitting duck on the straight, and the McLaren is going to be able to easily go through, and Tim Brustalens now down to 3rd. Of course, Ross Denham down in 4th place, as Adrian Lennon has made a move on Billy Mossum, who goes a little bit deep. Has he made an even bigger mistake? Or no, that's actually Luke Baker and Cameron Rowlands going. It's actually Tim Brustalens tried to make a move on Connor Setchell there. I didn't catch that. I didn't think that he'd be able to come back with those mediums that are probably crying out for help. But he tried it down the inside. Obviously didn't work because he's still 3rd. 5.2 seconds separates himself from Ross, so he'll definitely be beating Ross anyway. But it's a question of maybe if he can take back his 2nd place. So here we go then. The final stages of this race. Tim Brustalens is just hanging on in the DRS range, or maybe he's not actually, he's just lost it there, as Kieran Spears now is going to be navigating the final few corners in this Grand Prix. He's done absolutely nothing wrong this race. He's started 6th. He made the passes where he had to. He made the right strategy call. And you can see he's happy about it. He's weaving. And across the line for Kieran Spears, he takes his 2nd win of the season and becomes a 2nd repeat winner here in IRL F2. Connor Setchell is going to hold off Tim Brustalens for a 2nd place. Of course, Tim in 3rd. Ross Denham is going to take a P4. Adrian Lennon in 5th. Cameron Rowlands 6th, Luke Baker is going to take P7, and then Jessica Harrison in 8th, taking 4 points, and not too bad for her, and then Ivan Kingsley in last, only 2 points to his name, and it's going to allow Adrian Lennon certainly to catch back up to him. as he spins across the line, as some others did, as you can see there. So there you go then. Top step for Kieran Spears. Makes a bit of a statement maybe that he's still here and he can still maybe come back, but it would be a very late title charge. And of course, Conor Setchell, another podium for him, and then Tim Brusalens takes third place. Unfortunately, wasn't able to come away with a win today. And we go down the final grid order, as of course it's Kieran Spears who takes the win ahead of Conor Setchell and Tim Brusalens, and then it's Ross Denholm in 4th place, Adrian Lennon in 5th, Cameron Rowlands takes P6, Luke Baker in 7th, Jessica in 8th, Ivan Kingsley in 9th, and then a lap down because he seemingly DNF'd is Billy Mossam in 10th, taking the last point. Matt Romano doing his stream as well, unfortunately didn't come away with any points. And then Tom Spicer, Erminator, Jeremy Pope, Craig Woolley, Jake Uden, Hamrick, Shane, that's Louis Quinlan and Adam Corrigan, all DNFing from this race. 9 DNFs today. Almost half the grid DNFing. I'll just look at the penalties. I don't think anyone within the top 10 got any penalties that were carrying over from anything. So Kieran there's Tim in. There's Connor, and then we're just waiting for Kieran.
Assalamu alaikum.
And there we go. So, if I can actually hear you, because sometimes it takes a while. I'll just check. Make sure. Okay. So then, Kieran, we'll start with you then. Of course, given you won the race today, taking your 2nd win of the season, if I'm not mistaken, you won Spain as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, well then you could become the 2nd repeat winner in this season, and one of, I think, 6 different winners this season. Of course, Tim was chasing a win today, didn't quite work out, but we'll get to him later. So, Kieran, of course, today, no penalties or anything. You started in 6th, ended up with the win, smooth sailing. You didn't put yourself in any bad situations, and it came out good.
Yeah, I mean, at the start, we saw the massive crash. I don't know what happened. A Mercedes went flying across the track. I thought I was out because the Mercedes luckily ghosted, but I thought that was me out. But I managed to get through. And then I just kind of stuck behind Tech. I didn't really want to get into this title fight too much because it's not me to get into. And then, obviously after the third safety car, Tim and Tech collided, and I took my chance, and then won. Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. I think this puts you about 6th in the championship, so not really in a position to say that you're necessarily in the fight or anything. But maybe a sign of better things to come, given Spain was only 2 weeks ago. Then you took a win here as well. Maybe you could take a few more podiums and get yourself up there. So next week is Hungary. So how do you think you could do around Hungary? Of course, difficult to overtake, so quality will maybe be a bit more important.
Yeah, so I think I'm decent at Hungary, so I might have some good luck. However, I don't know how everyone else is around Hungary, so it'll be all what happens. But yeah, qualifying will be very important, because otherwise it's very hard to make overtakes around Hungary. But yeah.
Alright, then of course, congratulations on your 2nd win of this season, and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
Which then brings us on to Connor Setchell, who finished P2 in the end. Of course, Connor, you were involved in a bit of a fight with what would have been Tim, of course, right at the end. I think you had a bit of a fight with Ross as well. So maybe just talk us through your fights and maybe other bits of the race you found particularly, I don't know what the word is, maybe interesting.
The end was definitely something I was looking forward to for the whole race. I know I had the pace to at least be top 5, and I was like, podium would be nice, not really any particular position. I knew the win would have been a bit of a stretch with the pace of the guys in front of me, but can't really complain. I think for the guys at the front at least, it was all pretty clean while all the carnage was happening behind us. Very little complaints from me in terms of the race at least. Qualifying was a different matter.
Yeah, I think you started like 10th, or well, not, it wouldn't have been. I think you were maybe 11th. Yeah, it was. So up like 9 positions or something like that. So in that sense, a turnaround from qualifying compared to the race as well. So next race, of course, is Hungary. You've put yourself in quite a few podium positions in the last few weeks since you've joined. Even took a win on your debut as well. So are we expecting another podium next week, or maybe a top 5? What are you thinking?
I'd like to say more of a podium. I'm a lot more comfortable around Hungary than I am for Baku.
Alright then, congratulations on your P2 and good luck for next week then.
Cheers, man.
Then, of course, Tim, I think you're going to have a few things to say with your race, of course, certainly involving the title fight as well. One thing I do have to ask you though, the last safety car, when you pit, you came out on the mediums you were already on, so what happened there?
Yes, exactly. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I choose the softs, but I knew they were gonna be my used softs from the qualifying, and used set of mediums. I was first of all wanted to go on to mediums, but then I decided to go over to the softs. And when I was in the pit lane, my pit crew somehow just thought, "Oh, come on, he chooses softs. We give him the mediums." That's the end of the story.
Okay then, well, and may well have cost you a win today as well, which I guess we can get onto that now. Of course, you had a fight with Ross, of course a title rival, you can very much say at this point, kind of between you, him and Ivan. Adrian Lennon as well did catch back up on Ivan today, Ivan only scoring like 2 points today. And of course today you did, despite not winning, you did close up to Ross. So I guess how was the race, like racing Ross? Of course you did have a bit of an incident with him as well.
Overall in the season, no offense against Ivan, but I think he's not on the pace me and Ross is doing. You see that on his results, he always gets a good position when there are incidents at the end or safety cars or just out of luck. Pace-wise, he's not completely close with me and Ross. I think there is someone like Kieran who is also could be in the championship fight if he would not be that much points behind. Yeah, on track racing against Ross, there was like, I think like last week only one battle between me and Ross, and I knew it of last week. It looks like he loves to squeeze people out and to leave no space or not enough space, and on a track like Azerbaijan, it's a bit different. So I just said no, this time not. Yeah, he left me not enough space, and I didn't want it to spin out again. So this time I just parked my car in there, and yeah, it ended up in half side spun for him, and I just said, yeah, own fault of him. I'm a bit pissed off him that he always says he could race against me clean, and I know he can, but when it comes really hard to hard, he's not always the cleanest guy. It's a bit sad to have someone like him in a championship fight, but he gets what he wants. This time I didn't want it to spin out again, so yeah, this time I just parked my car there and gave myself the room.
Yeah, and I'm just looking here. After this race, you'll be on 94 points. Ross, I think, was 4th, so he'll be on 102, which means there's an 8-point gap in the championship at the moment. So I guess then, a follow-up, looking onto the last few races, are you going to be planning on getting that gap down? Do you think you can? Of course, you've been looking for a win for a while now, and do you think maybe Hungary is your time to get a win?
I would say I had already Belgium where I could have won, Italy where I won, but after penalties I got seconds. Last week in Russia I dominated the race, nearly win until the spin. And today, okay, it was a bit of Coldmaster's fault, not mine, but I think I made the best out of it, so maybe. Yeah, I had already the chance for wins, got no of them, so next week Ross already told me that he's not gonna be racing, so just have a good race, be on the podium, then championship lead should be mine, and then Bahrain and Brazil are good tracks for me, especially next week Hungary is also pace-wise a good track for me, and I'm feeling always confident there, and yeah.
Alright then, congratulations of course on your P3, although maybe you feel you could have got a bit more. Codemaster's fault, as he said, and good luck for what comes in the last few races.
Thank you.
And that would then wrap up the stream. So that has been myself, Kevin Harrison, commentating of course over Baku here in F2, and only 3 rounds left. Still the championship fight very much alive, and it's looking like it's probably going to go to the last round the way things are looking. So stay tuned for that certainly. And yeah, we'll bring you the action same time on Sunday, so be sure to tune in for that. But apart from that, that's been it from me, so I hope you enjoyed, and hopefully you join us next week. Goodbye.